Hello and welcome to my video talking about Mass Effect 2 and where it gets good, because I've spent the last three episodes basically slagging it off, but it is a good game. I think I've made enough comments about Mass Effect 2's failings, but let's get on with the good stuff. So, as I said, the control, the graphics are excellent, and a lot of the missions are pretty cool. Now this one is nice and spooky, and with a high-res texture pack you can read some of these magazine sheets and everything, and it's really nice little introduction. Now there are some problems with this mission, but they are fairly minor, and to be honest, because most of the missions in Mass Effect 2 are of this quality, it got loads of praise for being an excellent game, which it rightly does deserve. And as you can see, this is very freaky, landing on a colony and everyone is missing. It's kind of very unpleasant, and the whole theory behind this game of how things go wrong for humanity is quite disturbing if you think about it. Yes, you do start off rather annoyingly with lots of these stupid drones which you can at least headshot, and of course you get a nice little ambush and call in some crossfire. And as you can see, I've taken a bit too much damage, so I've got some veiny bits appearing. And you know, when you activate your biotics, they've got a nice feel to them. So yeah, the game's great. And as I say, I'm not so keen on the thermal click reloading bit, but as a game mechanic it works pretty well. And you know, the graphics, as I say, when you're running along and the smoke's coming out and the biotic powers, I mean, there's not much you can fault with the game. Now, I do think this is a great introductory mission, because everything we've done up to this point has basically been tutorial. This is actually your first proper mission, and it does a pretty good job of getting you doing stuff. You've got these little mini games of hacking, and I'm having all sorts of problems with the mouse, as I mentioned in a previous video, but getting a little bit better. So hopefully I'll be able to get over 2,000 credits on this one. Of course, I'm a little bit torn about that, because that means I'm giving money to Cerberus potentially, which I'm not so keen on. You know, I'm working for them partially. And yes, another little ambush. And there, nice, took out a drone and it blew up and damaged the other drone. Now, the one thing I would point out is I've got it on a pretty easy setting, just so I can play the story. And here's the first little twist. So we meet some Quarians, cool, and that person looks familiar, and yes, it's Tali. So there has been some criticism of Tali here. It doesn't bother me too much. It does seem a little bit convenient that, you know, in the massive universe you happen to bump into Tali. But, you know, she's looking good, lovely texturing on her hood there. And of course she's got that wonderful face that isn't a Photoshop image, because that would be really bad. And of course Miranda's been a normal, shall we say, awkward self. And you know, the characters are great, and I just love the missions. So as I say, when you get past that initial bit where you're working with Cerberus and get into this bit here, the game really starts opening up, and you know, the graphical upgrades, the gameplay upgrades, the combat upgrades. For people who weren't so fussed about the story of Mass Effect, this was just a quantum leap over Mass Effect 1. So I can see why it became very popular. You get to meet lots of nice new characters. So yeah, it got heaped with praises. And as I say, that first, I don't know, hour or so of the game really just was difficult for me to get through, but once I got to this point onwards, I could enjoy the game for what it was. And it is a very, very good game at running around, investigating stuff, doing side quests, and picking up your new crew. And once we're done here, we'll get to fly off to Omega, and that's a fantastic series of adventures. You do sometimes run out of money, and I am not someone who subscribes to the new exploration mechanic, but a lot of people preferred it to the Mako, so you know, they did a pretty good job. As you can see, the conversation trees are good, and it's nice that you can sort of try and work or not work with the Quarians. I can't remember now what happens if you basically tell them to bug off. I'm pretty sure I did do a playthrough once where I did refuse to work with them just to see how it would work out. So we have been sent off to try and find Vitor, who's gone a bit crazy, and a little bit of foreshadow in here of what's about to come. A load of cheesy rocket and machine gun turrets, drones, and yeah, it's always good taking out a drone before it gets to do anything. So anyway, I'm risking my life here, hacking without checking out the room. You always check the corners, you never know who's waiting there. And I don't know why there, but my mouse just wouldn't click, so it was a bit annoying. And I've noticed I'm getting 2,000-3,000 on a lot of these hacks, and I'm sure I got a lot quicker on the Xbox controller, so that is definitely still something to look into. And some nice little shot glasses there, they will reappear on Omega, and that's going to be a bit of fun for us. Anyway, here we go into ambush number, I don't know, 3 is it, coming up soon? So there you go. So use overload. So again, although this is the first mission, it's still a bit of a tutorial. You do get a lot of advice from your companions, and as you can see, overload works wonders. If you're stood up when a rocket comes at you, it's going to hurt. And with the massive drone we're about to encounter, he can actually blast you away from your cover, which is pretty unpleasant when that happens. Oh dear. Looks like Tali's having a little bit of problem with her Quarian mates. They are obviously very upset by Cerberus, because who wouldn't be, because they are douchebags. So anyway, let's push ourselves forward, and we get a nice bit of tactical setup, which makes sense from a kind of story point of view, but unfortunately the game doesn't, in my recollection, doesn't really take advantage of all this tactical setup you're about to do. And yes, a little bit of overload, I think. Yeah, unfortunately the biotics don't work very well on these drones, so overload and what's it, that biotic attack you do, I've forgotten the name of it. Yeah, the pull does work, thankfully. Anyway, this is pretty much over. Excellent. Yes, the Quarians are suffering here, so here you go. Q and E on your keyboard to get them to go either side, so, and then we take point. And we're going to get told to take point as well. So here comes Jacob. Sure, take point. Yeah, I already have. Thanks, Jacob. Thanks. Anyway, this is a nice cool bit, and that robot is not very nice. He doesn't like Quarians at all. I think he might damage their environmental suits, so ooh, that's got a sting. Oh yeah, that definitely stings. Anyway, rocket for the win. Yeah, on higher difficulty levels, these giant robots are a nightmare to take down. So great bit of cinematography here, really, really cool. And as I say, the feel of the game is great, and you know, the comments from your teammates. And when I fought this in a previous game, it was much easier to take down. For some reason I struggle here. I think it's because my power-ups didn't quite work, and for some reason I tried to use Vortex, and he takes out Miranda quite quickly, which is a pain because she's good for doing her overload. So I'm going to have to use Unity on them. And I think the robot also takes out Jacob in a sec, so I have to use Unity to cure both of them. And yeah, so launch a biotic, try and heal. Yeah, there you go. Rocket blasts you out of your cover. And oh yeah, don't want to be standing in front of that heavy machine gun. So let's get my crew back up. And yeah, they can be sacrificial lambs. But I think I do manage to distract the robot. As you can see, I've taken away his shield, so hopefully... Oh dear, another rocket. Luckily I managed to avoid it this time. So, warp, yes, warp's the good thing. For some reason it won't let me launch it from here, so I'm going to run across, take some cover here, and we're deliberately position ourselves so the robot gets... in my line of fire, so I can just see over the crate there, so I'm going to be able to chip away at its armour, taking no damage, so that's good. Anyway, went down pretty easily, to be honest, but I do remember ripping it apart in a previous playthrough on an easy setting. So I'm looking for some extra bits that I know are in this area, but I'm just having a little bit of trouble finding them, and I will stop derping around in a second, but in the meantime, no doubt you can enjoy the wonderful environment that we've got here. So yes, I think it's up here on the left of this container. Yeah, so got some reinforced bits, so heavy weapon ammo, and some research to unlock, and of course over here something to hack. So it's always important to steal stuff from people, because you know that's honourable, and being a paragon, that's what I've got to do. I've got to steal all the things. So let's see if I've got slightly better mouse control this time. Probably not. Actually, yeah, doing reasonably well here. Can I get 3000? Yes, there you go. So it is possible, particularly when your mouse is actually clicking on things when you tell it to. So spun myself around, got a bit confused. We're actually going to have to go through that locked door there. I think there are some bits over here, and this is where Talia is hiding, and she will have a chat with you. So yeah, go find him. And this is really cool, this bit coming up. I think the voice actor for Vita does a pretty good job at this slightly crazy fellow who Cerberus are very keen to get their mitts on, and you can back up their opinion or decide to go Italia. So should be obvious which one I'm going to pick. And you also get to get one of the new things in Mass Effect 2 with the trigger buttons, where you can interrupt a conversation with a Paragon or Renegade option, which is another really nice addition. Let's say the lighting, the camera angles, everything about Mass Effect 2 does scream quality. And as I say, it's, for me, the shame is that the game would have been even better if it had built on Mass Effect 1 and done everything right that it does do right. So as I say, it's a fantastic game, don't get me wrong. I know I spent 3 videos slagging it off, but it is a really, really good solid game. And as I say, if you've never played Mass Effect, it's a really good place to start, because it tells some wonderful stories and looks amazing. But we get a lot of exposition here now, where we're talking about what's going on, and we come to realise that the Reapers have a new ally in the form of the Collectors, and for some reason they're targeting humans to basically paralyse them and put them into these weird pods and take them off on the mothership. Now we find out much later on why they're doing this, and it's, as I say, quite disturbing. Now Shepard does know a little bit about the Collectors, but not a huge amount, so obviously we do get a little bit annoyed with Tim, the elusive man, because obviously he knows a little bit more than he's telling us. And as I say, that fits quite well with the nastiness that is Cerberus, but unfortunately they don't leverage that as much as they could, where Shepard's like really not trusting Cerberus to the degree I think, sorry, let's get my words right. I think he trusts Cerberus more than he should in Mass Effect 2, because they are, as I say, total douchebags. Now Jacob, he seems okay, and you can turn Miranda around a bit, so probably be trying to do that. But the danger there is if you turn her around, she can become potentially a love interest to a male Shepard, and I'm loyal to my lovely tentacle-headed alien, so Liara forever. Anyway, he is a great little character, this. I wish we could have had some more interaction with this guy, because as I say, I enjoyed the voice actor for this character, and he's a sympathetic character. He's been driven to the edge of despair, thinking that this entire race is going to come back for him, and he's had to sit by while all of his friends have been taken away from him. So yeah, nice little zoom in here so you realise just what's going on. And yeah, we're now at the point, do we become Renegade or Paragon? So he's got the Omni tools, so we can get the data from there, or we can actually take him off for extreme questioning. So Miranda, of course, let's grab him and take him away. As Talia says, well, what are you kidding? He needs treatment. Yeah, so do you want to be a douchebag, or do you want to be decent? Now Jacob's like, yeah, we're not going to hurt him. Yeah. Somehow I think Cerberus isn't going to do that. So Miranda's obviously had a run-in with them before, so she doesn't trust them. But, you know, we know Talia's got the hots for us, so let's try and get her on our side. And, yeah, I think we're going to crash and burn. Yeah, oh dear. Maybe not. Okay, well, let's see if she can help us out here. So, I think I go for... Yeah, he goes with her, so... And yeah, I think there was a little bit of a mouth twitch there, and a sort of, oh, I understand, you bastard. Nice little eye squint. So yeah, some good little facial animation there, and yeah, very, very interested. Anyway, that's pretty much it for this mission. So we're going to return to base, have a chat with the elusive men, and I can't remember if we then fly off to Omega or it's mostly just a conversation with the elusive man. Let's find out. So here we go. So yeah, he is surprised that we managed to get things due. So you get to put a little bit of a jab in if you want. So yeah, guess what I went with? Yeah, the jab option. So yeah, I'm going to be basically quite snarky with both the elusive man and Miranda, without being a total moron, but yeah, every opportunity to basically indicate I'm not very keen on Cerberus, I'm going to take that. And as you can see, so he had suspicions, he needed proof, yeah, he knows stuff, so there's something going on. And as I say, he claims to be looking out for the interests of humanity, and as nice as it is to believe that, it's possibly at a price that is unacceptably high, because he is so in favour of humanity. He's sort of anti-alien. Now, he would deny that. But, yeah, there's nothing I've seen in Mass Effect 1 that would back up the idea that Cerberus is someone you want to do business with. But, as I say, the game doesn't give you a choice. And it does... You can see there has been some effort to try and hand wave away why Shepard would accept the elusive man. Yeah, the stakes are really high. He's not doing anything that is unpleasant. He's facilitating you trying to beat the Reapers, so you sort of reluctantly go along with him, which could pay off really well in Mass Effect 3 based on what I know happens in Mass Effect 3, but I think maybe a little bit more signposting in Mass Effect 2 and a better way of bringing that out in Mass Effect 3 would have been better. So slightly lazy writing, but I mean, it's easy for me to criticise. I mean, being a creative genius is hard work, so don't get me wrong. And as I say, they did such a good job with Mass Effect 2 that I do begrudge in some ways the fact that I have to be disappointed with it, because so much of it is excellent. Anyway, yeah, Reaper threat died with Sovereign. We know different, don't we? So here, a little bit annoying. It's this bit is a bit annoying, because this is where you're like, I'm going to get my old team, and he's like, nope, no can do. Yeah, don't know where they are. So yeah, we get to ask about our old crew very shortly. And as I say, yeah, here you go. I had a good team. Keep your list. So let's go through all the people. And he basically fobs us off, really, which is a bit annoying. Now, Ashley, I can understand. She's military. She's going to be recalled by the Alliance. And she's definitely not going to work with me as Cerberus. Rex, he's gone back to Chunka, so fair enough. So, yeah. Fair enough. Tali, well, we met her, so let's see if we can get her on board. Well, maybe, but not right now. Liara, Garrus, what's going to happen with them? So, yeah, Garrus has done a runner, and Liara, rather irritatingly, is in some DLC, if you wish to interact with her. One of the big disappointments of Mass Effect 2 was how they treated Liara. Now, as I say, having said that, the download that I'm talking about, the DLC, the Shadowbreaker, is excellent. So if you do buy Mass Effect 2, make sure you get hold of the Shadowbreaker. It's a fantastic piece of DLC, well worth spending the money on. And despite some annoyances with the way they handled Liara, the actual story for the Shadow Broker is fantastic mission, so definitely worth getting your teeth into. So yeah, Morden. Now he is a fantastic new character, and he really, for me personally, carries Mass Effect 2. So he's great. And here you go, another little chance to make some acid comments. So obviously take those. But yeah, you know, he's trying to be reasonable with us. I'm surprised he doesn't lose his temper with us, because we are being a bit dickish. And plot twist, yeah, here's your pilot, and it makes no real sense why he moves across. Now, if he came across because he heard I was alive and he heard about the ship that we're going to get and all that, that would be fine. But it's pretty clear that before he knew we were alive, he came and joined Cerberus, and that just doesn't sit well with me. I think they're taking the point of view that they grounded him, and as somebody just wants to fly, he got fed up with the Alliance and came across to Cerberus. So I can see they made an effort to try and explain why he comes across, and as it says, they're not all bad, but yeah, this is great until he told me last night about this. It's like, really, why not? He told me about this the last night before I decided to leave the Alliance, or something like that. So it becomes more obvious he left the Alliance because he wanted to fly the Normandy SR2. And nice reveal of the SR2, and the redesign of the ship hull. I mean, it's pretty close to the original, but with some subtle little tweaks. I think there's a couple of little twiddly bits here and there. It's virtually identical. And this bit is pretty epic. So we're going to board the ship and go off on our mission of recruitment over to Omega. So enjoy this nice bit of CGI where we undock and go into space. So that's going to be excellent fun. And next time you join me, I'll be off to Omega. Hopefully my brain will be de-scrambled and I can actually talk some sense about Mass Effect 2 and heap more praise on it, because as I say, the Omega recruiting Morden mission is really cool. I really enjoyed playing it, and it helped me forget parts 1, 2 and 3 of my YouTube playlist. Part 4 onwards, everything starts getting good. So there you go. Positive time incoming. Catch you on the next video.